Hello and welcome back to our JRPG series. Last time we started work on our item window and getting it into our game. In this part we're going to go over and finish off our item window by allowing us to design what the items actually do when they're used in the game. So join us right now as we go through and set up the potions for our characters. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our combat component. So at the moment we've got the attack command going on here, we've got the magic command here, and we also need to make a item command. We're going to do custom event and do item command. And in here it's going to work almost the same. So we're going to take the set all bit there and put that in here too. And when this goes over to the branch, what it's doing is checking to see what class we're using and if whether or not it's a child class with the black magic base. So similarly, we're going to take a item command here and have an input. And this will be the item we want to spawn and use. And this will be the item base class. And that'd be the class version of it. Base class reference. So then we're going to take the item class and determine what type it is. So we're going to get the class defaults. Yeah. And I'm going to break open the detail struct. I just want to see the type pin. So I'm going to hide them all and just show the type pin. And with this, I'm going to, first of all, just check to see if it is equal to the combative one. Now, if it's combative, that means we're going to be using it as a offensive ability, whereas the other two are supportive and therefore going to be affecting allies only. So with this, we want to put this into a branch, and that'll be where we handle the split. If you've got multiple item types that are going to be more than one's going to be competitive, then you'll have to put this into a switch component and do it on the switch. But either way, totally okay. So here we're going to take the branch and we need to do a cast black magic and cast white magic equivalent for the items. So we're going to put a comment around this bit for the magic stuff. So magic attacks. And we're going to make another one over here, custom event. And this would be use item on enemy. And then from that, we're going to be basically doing the same thing as we do for the magic. So with the magic attacks, we're going to take this here, and we're going to copy it. Copy. Paste. And we'll plug that into here. So get range position if we're targeting an enemy is true. That will make the character run out just in front. And here we are doing exact same commands, exact same animations almost, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's pretty much exactly the same. The class we spawn now is going to be the item class. So on that use item on enemy, we need to know what item we're using. So on inputs for this, we'll have the item, and that will connect to our node there. And we don't need spell target, we can take that off. And instead we are going to have to know who is going to be the recipient of the item. So this is something that we need to set up on our item classes themselves. So let's go to the item class, go to item base, in there make a variable, and we call this as recipient. And this is going to be a unit base class. And we'll make that editable and exposed on spawn. File and save that. Now back on the combat component, if I refresh this, we've now got recipient pin, and that's going to be the unit target. And over here, focus is going to be fine. This is all fine, and that's all fine. So the other thing I'm going to change here is the animation that we use. So at the moment we're using a magic cast montage. I'm going to remove that because we're going to make a custom item one. So I'm just going to duplicate this, and we're going to call this one item cast montage. And that'll be the one that we use for this animation. Compile and save that. Okay, so that is all we need to do for the one we use on enemies. We're going to make another one for using on friendlies. Break this down here. And we'll rename this one use item on allies. And this is going to be the same as the white magic one. So we'll take this across and this, and this. Yeah, it should be everything. Copy that and paste that in here. And plug that in there. Item will go down to here. And we'll put that into recipient there. And the magic cast is not going to be magic. It's going to be the item cast magic. Montage, sorry. Item cast montage. So that should be everything we need to do here. Okay. So nothing extra special. It's just doing the same thing that we've done for the magic stuff. Compile and save that. And those are now set up. So if I can now go back to the left here, where we're doing the item command, we're going to put those two functions on here. So if it is combative, and it's true, we want to use item on enemy. And the item class is going to be from our item command. And the other one is going to be use item on allies. And that will also come from the item class there. Compile and save this. Okay, that's all done there. So next we need to set up the animation we're going to use for our item cast montages that we got here. So we're going to go to our Greystone character first. And in Greystone, he has some animations we can use. And it's totally up to you what animation you use, obviously. You don't have to use any of the same ones I'm using. So I'm going to go and use the card cast one. Right click on this, create an in montage. And we'll call this one Greystone item. But this one I want a little bit different, as I don't want it to go this fast. So I'm going to go to the rate scale here and I'm going to change this down to 0.4. Okay, and like the magic one, we're going to have the same sort of notifiers and events on here. I'm going to open up both the magic cast and the item cast here. So I need these three things on here. So I'm going to select all three, copy that, go to Greystone item and paste these in. Just pause this, paste those in. And now it's a matter of placing them where we want to place them. So the cast here is for the sound effect. And that will go there. In fact, where should we make it? We should make it go like that, yeah. And what I'm also going to do is make the particle effect here smaller. So on the scale on the Z, I'm going to change this from 1 to 0.2. And we should get a little smaller particle effect. Okay, so there's it 0.2. There's it at full value. We'll do 0.2 there. And we'll change X and Y here to be 0.5 and 0.5. Okay. And we'll hit save on that. We also need a montage notifier, and that one didn't copy over for some reason, but that's fine. We'll just add it in here. The montage notifies when the item gets thrown out, so we'll just put that here roughly and do montage notify. Save and done. And close that. And we now need to set that on to a Greystone character. Greystone. And we're going to go to his combat component and set the item cast montage here to the Greystone item montage. Yeah. Compile and save this. Okay. So the combat component has all the functionality now. We now need to link that up to our windows. So if we go back to the UI and go to the target window, And on here, we're handling what happens when we are picking a chosen target. At the moment here, we're checking to see if the ability is valid. And if it is valid, we're doing a magic command. If it's not, we're doing an attack command. So that's fine. But if it's not valid, we want to come down here and check for then the item. We go item, get, and convert that to validated get. And put that into there. And if it is valid, we're going to choose attack command. Sorry, if it's not valid, we're going to choose attack command. And if it is valid, we can choose item command. Item going into there. And then that going into all return selected. Compile and save this. Now let's test this out in our game. Greystone's the only one that will have item animation to show, so we'll just set him up. Now, currently the potion won't do anything, so we're not worried about it doing anything just yet. But we just want to see Greystone walk out, do his animation, and do something to the target. So items, potions, potion, and choose Faye. Okay, and he's thrown that out to her, and it's done. So, and it goes on to the next person, and so forth. So at the moment, two things. We need to make the potion actually do something. And on here, we need to make the potions take away one from our inventory. So let's first of all set up the potion to do something. I'm going to go into my items and go to item potion. And in here, we need to set up what we want this thing to do. And this could be very greatly per item. But one thing that we're probably going to safely assume is that it's going to have some kind of particle effect on it to show the player has actually done something. So an item base, I'm going to edit item base. I'm going to add a component, and I'm going to add our particle systems to this. We'll add both of them. And Niagara 1. If you're using Unreal Engine 5, then you will only have Niagara, so don't worry about it. You can use either. And on we're going to hit compile and save. So on item potion, these should now show. And I'm going to set these up with a particle effect. And I'm going to do heal. I've got heal 1, I've got heal 2. I can't remember which one I've cut on the heal cure magic spell, but I think it's heal 1. If I choose heal 2, it's a little bit different. Okay, that's not bad. We'll use that. So that's going to play as soon as this thing is created in the world. So to make it heal the recipient, we're going to have to get the recipient. And from there, we're going to apply damage to it. Remember that trick from before when we've done the healing. When you apply damage to something with a negative number, it actually heals it. I'm going to put in here minus 50. And that's the amount that this potion is going to heal by. So I've done that. The damage causer is going to be the instigator of this thing. So get instigator. And damage type class, we don't have to worry about here. That'll be fine. File and save that. And then we have to tell it to, when it's finished the particle system, we're going to add an event. In fact, actually, we'll do this on item base. We'll add the event for particle system here on particle system finished. And on Niagara finished, we are going to tell it to destroy actor. Okay. Similar to how we've got the magic base doing its thing. There. Okay. So that is the destroy actor happening now. And the ultimate potion then will destroy when it's finished playing this particle system. Okay, so let's see if that heals our characters. Hit play on this. And we're going to make Greystone heal the characters here. We'll make it heal Faye. And her health went up there to 120. Good. Okay. Now these guys won't do it because they haven't got their animation set up yet. So what I'm going to do in between this session and next session is I'm going to add the animations for those. But obviously you do the same too for each of your characters. So now we need to take away our potions from our inventory once we've used them. So we're going to go to the item base. There we are. And when this thing has been destroyed, we want to access the player controller and change their value. So we get player controller and cast to the battle player controller. And then from there, I want to get the inventory. And from that, I want to do a find. So I need to find the current value we've got. And I'm going to take items away from it. So here will be self. Get class of self. Get the wrong way around. You get self first, and then you get the class of self. And that will go into that there. And that will return how many of that item we currently have in our inventory. We're then going to take this value and -1. And then we're going to take the item inventory and do add and plug that in to our cast. And when we use the add node, what's going to happen is it will replace the value that's in there with this new value. So the class we want to use here is going to be from the self get class. And the add is going to take the value from this minus here. So compile and save that. And that will update and change that. Now, what will happen now is as the player uses these items, the value should go down. The reason why it's going down on the UI without having to do anything to it is because every time it's a player's turn, the new UI is put onto the screen. So it removes it and puts a new one up. And that new one is then refreshed with all the new information. So I go to items, potions, potion. Oh, I heal Gideon this time. He heals himself. And in here, we're going to go to items, potions, and you now see we've got 9 left. There you go. The last thing we've got here is that we've got, because we're using applied damage, our characters are reacting as if they got hit by something, which is not very nice. You want it to be kind of positive, not negative. So what we're going to do is make them not do the react if the value is less than 0. So we go to unit base and find the hit react stuff on the damage event, which is here. And we only want to do this if this value, damage value, is above 0. So above 0. We put that into a branch. And this will be moved along like so. And that goes into true. And there we have it. So now if the damage is positive value, which means we didn't damage to the actual character, we don't want it to do, we want it to do hit react. And if it's less than that, so it's negative value, i.e. healing them, we don't want to do hit reaction at all. And that is it. And there we have it. We now have a functioning items window that we can target allies with some items and enemies with others. In the next episode, we're going to go ahead and work on the information bar at the top of the screen. This information bar will give us information about the objects or spells that we've selected, so the player knows exactly what they're doing. You can watch the next episode right now over on patreon.com/Ryan Lady, where you can catch all my videos early before anyone else. I want to say a massive thank you to all my patrons and YouTube members for the continued support. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.